Hey Ringsiders, what's going on? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories, or if you're new, we make content regarding boxing through mini documentaries, backstories, post-fight analysis, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe. And Mike Tyson, that like button.
Boom, perfect timing.
Thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to the channel. Saul Canelo Alvarez is still the WBC, WBA, and WBO unified super middleweight champion of the world. The fight against undefeated Edgar Berlanga, the #1 ranked contender with the WBA, turned out to be a total mismatch as many expected going in. Canelo turned out to be too smart, too skilled, too crafty, too consistent, and too experienced for the young Puerto Rican American Berlanga. Canelo more or less controlled the bulk of the action from start to finish, also scoring a sweet knockdown along the way in the third round. To his credit though, Edgar Berlanga gave a brave effort, surely lacked the experience at the upper echelon in the 168-pound division, yet Berlanga showed heart and he had some moments here and there despite clearly losing the majority of the 12 rounds.
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this opportunity. I went in there with a legend today, man. We came up short. Obviously, I'm a winner at heart, man. So, I'm a little down, but, I know I won the world after this performance. I got dropped in the third round. I came back and, fought a hard fight. Finally got my feet wet at the highest level, at the pinnacle of boxing. And I feel like, I handled it well. We sold the fight great, and we fought a great fight. We gave the fans what they wanted to see, war. And, that's what Mexicans and Puerto Ricans do, when they go in the ring and share the ring together. Like I said before, man, the whole world was against me, and I was saying it in interviews, nobody believed in me. I felt like I had probably like 20% of the world, maybe 10% of the world that believed in me. They thought I was going to probably get knocked out in 2-3 rounds, But it was a great fight, man. I knew, that it was going to be a great fight at the end of the day, man. I'm a warrior. And like I said before, I was calling this guy for 4 years, and like I said, man, he's a legend. He fought Floyd Mayweather when he was young, and look who he became after that loss. So I gained a lot of experience, man, being in the ring with him. He's a great fighter. But I know that he knows that I'm the future legend of the sport.
In the end, Canelo was too good, too smart, too much for Edgar Berlanga, and that's a 34-year-old Saul Canelo Alvarez who isn't in his absolute prime, yet still a world-class operator.
He don't fight like he used to fight. He defend himself a little more. That's why it happened what happened. But I did what I supposed to do. Being there and fight and do my best and win the fight. I did what I supposed to do, win the fight, and I enjoyed the fight. I think it was a good fight for the fans, and I'm satisfied.
So Ringsiders, who do you want to see Canelo in the ring with next? There are a couple of options. One, Terrence Bud Crawford, who has been vocal about moving up another 2 weight classes to fight the former undisputed 168-pound world champion. We all know Turki Al-Sheikh was very interested in putting it together, but then after him and Canelo clashed in a battle of wills, that fight between Canelo and Crawford may not be likely to come off anytime soon. Personally, Canelo versus Crawford isn't a fight I'd be clamoring for, because although Crawford is one of my favorite fighters in the world at the moment, his close win over then undefeated WBA champion Israel Madrimov at 154 did not increase my confidence in a Canelo win should Crawford fight the Mexican superstar next. Crawford got hit more than I've seen him get hit in recent memory against a world-class operator, yes, but one who lacks the pound-for-pound level experience, stature, and power. I mean, Canelo is bigger than Madrimov and hits harder, and even though potentially Crawford possesses the style to trouble Canelo, I think the size difference between Canelo and Crawford would eventually be bigger than Bud can overcome by sheer boxing ability and skill. Second option is the long-awaited showdown against David Benavidez, who just came off a 12-round unanimous decision win over Alexander Gvozdyk back in June, a fight at 175. The former two-time super middleweight world champion has left the division ruled by Saul Canelo Alvarez, but has mentioned he'd be willing to go down one more fight only to fight Canelo.
I've been trying to get that fight with Canelo for a long time, and as you can see, I got the star power now. You know, people love the way I fight, and you know, they interact with me really well. But that'd be a big fight. That'd be a really big fight. I think everybody wins. The world of boxing wins. The fans win, and you know, this is a fight that we got to get going on. And you know, if he really believes that he's the best in the world, then come beat me and come shut me up. But
he brings nothing to the table for me. It's just he brings just 25 pounds more in the night. But if one promoter who I work to, they come and say, I offer to you 150 to 200 million, I fight tomorrow.
Over the years, Benavidez has proven to be an entertaining yet flawed fighter. Didn't overly impress, to be honest, against the aging Gvozdyk, and a drop from 175 to 168, a weight Benavidez has struggled to make even in the past, I think would give Canelo a bit more of an advantage on top of the experience and overall skill. The man may disagree on this matter, but I do think a win over David Benavidez would add something to Canelo's already first ballot Hall of Fame resume, because a win over Benavidez will leave no doubt who this era's best is at 168, similar to how Alexander Usyk left no doubt who his generation's best cruiserweight was, beating Tony Bellew after becoming undisputed world champion. Then we have the winner of the upcoming 175 Undisputed World Championship between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. Canelo could fight either or, although I wouldn't favor him against either of the current light heavyweight world champions. Sure, there's a storyline with Dimitri Bivol, who outboxed, outsmarted, and outmaneuvered Canelo on his second attempt at a 175-pound world title, and that's because of Bivol's style, which Canelo will always have issues with. Should the current unified WBC, IBF, and WBO world champion win the Bivol fight on October 12th, I think a fight against KO artist Beterbiev is more winnable than Bivol for Canelo, based on Beterbiev's age and wear and tear, but given the sheer punching power, I think he'd be a more dangerous fight for Canelo. Out of all three options, the one I'd like to see the most is the fight with David Benavidez, simply because it's a more natural fight to make, and again, a Benavidez win, I think, would stamp Canelo's official dominance in the 168-pound division, solidifying that chapter, leaving no doubt, answering the question who the best super middleweight of this current era is. Obviously, I'd like to see Canelo test himself against danger man Artur Beterbiev, especially should the Canada-based Beterbiev beat his countryman, because of the excitement that lies ahead should that Beterbiev versus Canelo fight indeed take place. A Bivol rematch is always on the table, even if Bivol would lose to Beterbiev given the history of his first fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez. I just think Bivol, especially at this point in time, has Canelo's number because of the style. Then there are fights against the likes of Jermall Charlo, which isn't to my interest, neither a Caleb Plant rematch, who just came off a 9th round TKO win over Trevor McCumbee. I simply think a potential fight against Charlo or a Plant rematch isn't particularly competitive nor exciting, because I don't think neither of those guys possess a significant chance against Saul Canelo Alvarez. And looking at the current landscape, one may wonder how long Canelo even has to give at world level. I think he's past his prime, and something the Berlanga fight showed is that Canelo Alvarez either isn't as keen to go for the knockout, or at this point in time is limited to actually produce a knockout. His last knockout win dates back to November 2021, when he defeated then undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion Caleb Plant. Canelo may have a chance to knock out a fighter who comes forward, even though his most recent fight against a pressure fighter against a smaller Jaime Munguia didn't end up in a knockout either. And certainly fighters who move away from Canelo like Jermall Charlo, it seems Canelo has difficulties to put away despite the weight gap and gap in power in that fight with Jermall Charlo. And then there's a lucrative fight with former two-weight UFC world champion Conor McGregor, which obviously would do great numbers, but isn't a fight to be taken seriously in terms of a boxing contest. What do you think, Ringsiders? who would you like to see Saul Canelo Alvarez face next, and what would his chances be against the likes of Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol, and David Benavidez? Drop your comments below in the comments section. If you're new to this channel and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and Mike Tyson that like button.
Boom, perfect timing.
It helps a lot with the algorithm, i.e. inspire me to make more quality content for y'all. Now, if you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true undisputed world champion. Till next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching and have a legendary day.